Alright, let's get this shit started. No cap. So today I'm just gonna be making a video basically explaining, well, that's not really an explanation, but this is a tier list for all the DPS classes that basically do damage. It's all about the damage. And I'm gonna be ranking them from, I would say, 1 to 10 in AoE wise, which is area of effect, or basically your surroundings when you're doing mobbing, fighting more than one single target, so like group of mobs and stuff like that. And then we're gonna do a single target, which is basically mob bossing, um, you know, and how good they are. So there's gonna be two sections of each class that is a DPS class, obviously, not no pally tank DPS whatever, not none of that. I'm not ranking those. That's some bullshit. We're just gonna be ranking up. We're just gonna be ranking the classes that are actually damage dealers and that actually deal damage. So let's fucking start. So first we're gonna start with the Arbiter. This is my Arbiter. Yeah, don't talk about his race because I really don't care about the race. But yeah, obviously best in slot race is, Metallic Dragonborn. So if anybody's making a new class, looking for a DPS and what class they want to be, it's either regular Dragonborn or Metallic Dragonborn. That's it. Alright, let's get to it. So for single target, the Arbiter is an amazing burst damage dealer. If you guys played Trickster Rogues back in the day and they had Shadow of Demise, which doesn't work like it does now, basically Prophecy of Doom is basically another Shadow of Demise. Which basically, after 10 seconds, well, once you proc the Prophecy of Doom, after 10 seconds, all the damage you did within that 10 seconds will be dealt to the target for another 30%. So if I did 10 million damage, 30% of that will round up to 3 mil within those 10 seconds. And trust me, Arbiters can do more than 10 mil in 10 seconds if the situation is right. So for single target, I'm going to give the Arbiter a 10. Out of 1 through 10, the Arbiter gets a 10. Right now, as of right now, I would say this is probably one of the best single target DPS dealers in the game right now until they get nerfed. Alright, for AoE, Arbiters get, I'd say, like a 7.5. Arbiters really do not specialize in AoE. I mean, majority of their attacks that are AoE are linear and not in an oval or a cone shaped or anything like that, not a circle, unless you're using Sunburst like an idiot and making your team mad. Other than that, AoE wise, Arbiters are not that good. I mean, they're pretty good, honestly, but they're not the best. I'll give them a 7.5. Yeah, so that's it for Cleric Arbiter. Next class is gonna be, I'll just do the Barbarian next, so let's get to it. I'm gonna cut. Alright, now to the Barbarian. I'm not really well experienced with it, but this is from going from what I've seen, and I've seen other players be a DPS on Barbarians. They have potential. They do have potential. But my problem is, it's too one at will reliant, if you get what I mean by that. So let's just start off for the AoE. Their AoE, I'd give it a 10. Perfect score, dude. Fuck, dude. Barbarians are ridiculous when it comes to doing AoE damage. They melt. Why? Because of this at will right here. For single target, I'd give it an 8 flat. They have potential. They can be the best damage dealers if they wanted to. I mean, but there are other classes that are above it. So I'd give it in, let's say we got top tier single target damage, mid tier, and complete buku garbage bottom tier, right? Barbarians would be in between mid and high tier. I'll give it an 8 flat for single target and a 10 for AoE damage, because AoE damage is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Throw a lightning on that boy, it's over. A lightning with a 3 book set, or a lightning with decanter, whatever artifact that gives you an extra AoE damage. Lightning on a barbarian is just buku crazy. Other than that, that is basically it for a barbarian. It's just really good for his AoE. It could be good for single target, but it's definitely not gonna out DPS some of these other classes in the game. Next class is probably gonna be my fighter. So let's go. Alright, we're on my fighter. And for this class, it is a freaking, I don't know what to call it, dude. When I just gave you that tier list from high, mid to low, I'd say it's literally a mid tier class for DPS. I'll give it, for single target, I'd say probably a 7 for single target. Only reason why I say that is because there are much better DPS classes than a barbarian. I mean a fighter, sorry. Fighters don't really, they have too much management to be able to actually get their full-on output. Especially when you think of a fighter, the only thing you think about is a fighter tank. Even though they got buffed or whatever, they still are below other DPS classes, and the only reason why is just because they're really slow, clunky, too melee and burst damage wise. So for single target, I'll give it a 7. Now for AoE, the AoE on a fighter is complete trash. I'll literally give it a 4.5. In my honest opinion, fighters as a DPS do not look good at all. Now I've seen some really good fighters, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I've seen some really good fighters. But in an honest opinion, when you put every class in an even based playing field with the same stats, just based off of their rotation and how consistent they are, fighters would probably be beneath majority of the DPS classes right now. So I'd rank them as the lowest DPS dealer within this list. I know some people might be, opinionated on that and they might hate me for it, but it is what it is. This used to be my main, so I know how it works. I know how it plays. And it's not that great of a damage dealer, but like I said before, it can be a really good damage dealer, but not in the game state right now. Next class, we're gonna do Control Wizard. Alright, Control Wizards, Control Wizards, Control Wizards. As of right now, even with the new recent update, which I also don't know what it was, and I don't see it whatsoever. I think they were talking about this or something, but it doesn't matter. Control Wizards remain the top dog when it comes to single target damage. Control Wizards get an 11 out of 10 when it comes to single target damage. Hands down. You can't beat a Control Wizard. I don't care. Unless the Control Wizard you're going up against just doesn't crit and it gets really unlucky. At that point, you're just playing with numbers. But you're not about to outburn a burner. I'll tell you that now. So Control Wizards, when it comes to single target, 11 out of 10. Probably the best single target damage dealer in the game, by all means. Now, for AoE, I'll give Control Wizards a... Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll give Control Wizards an 8. when it comes to AoE damage. Icy, if you get the group in icy terrain and you pop your book and you do this and you throw some crits in there, that's about 12 mil damage right there. That's when it comes to these end game dungeons. When it comes to icy or anything like that, that's a lot of damage, and I'll give you that now. That is a lot of damage. So I'd say an 8 for a control wizard's AoE, and for single target, I'll give it an 11. That's it. And these are the powers. I don't really change anything when it comes to AoE and single target. The only thing I change is the encounter powers. I will run Entangle Force, Raven Filament on my tab power, which is R1. Repel on my. Really, it doesn't really matter as long as you pop Raven Filament on the target first. And Disintegrate. And class features, I always keep the same: AoE and single target, Storm Spell, and Chilling Presence. Same at wills. Everything's the same. Just gonna tell you this now. If you're gonna play a wizard, just know you're gonna be doing insane damage. Next class. Trickster Rogue. Alright. Here we are. My bread and butter. My favorite character. Well, was one of my favorite characters. I still love it to this day. And I'm gonna always play it. But it's just right now, don't get me wrong, it is one of the best damage dealers in the game. But right now, I'm just enjoying other classes. You know, I'm just dabbling on every other class because I have nothing else to do until mod 20 or whatever. Is that? Yeah, mod 19, sorry. Alright, for a single target, rogues are probably one of the best single target damage dealers. I will literally give it a 10.5 out of 10. It's not going to be the control wizard. Well, actually, it might. But like I said, it just depends on the outcome. Like, it's always situational when it comes to these end game dungeons. Who dies a lot, who, you know, etc., etc. But yeah, so rogues, 10.5 in single target. One of the best damage dealers up to with wizards. Literally. And arbiters, so they stick with that single target, buku crazy. AoE for rogues, I will give them a 10. Right, a 10? What? Rogues? Yes, I will give rogues a 10. Here's my. Oh, sorry, this isn't my actual. Okay, let me just. Alright, here's my rogue build for AoE. It'll always stay the same. This is literally it. And for single target, I don't change anything. I just change the encounter powers. And this is my encounter powers for a single target. Lashing Blade, Wicked Reminder, and Assassinate. That's it. And obviously the book set, which is best in slot, obviously, you know. But rogues, AoE, a 10. Single target, a 10.5. If you want an all-rounder class that can melt everything and anything in your path, rogues would be your go-to, hands down. Next is Hunter Ranger. Alright, Rangers. I will give Rangers for single target. I don't play this character, by the way, but I do know about them. I know about every class in this game. I could play any class in this game. I'm a jack of all trades. I love this game too much to not know about every class. But Rangers, for AoE, I would give them an 8 for AoE. And for single target, if played right, if known how to play, I will give Rangers a smack dab 9.9. Only reason why is because I know some people are gonna hate me, but Rangers are too reliant on other things. But yeah, Rangers get a solid 9.9 for a single target and a 8 for AoE, because Rangers do pretty. I've seen some monster Rangers, dude. They do pretty good damage. And yeah, they do some really solid damage. I mean, if you're gonna play this class, you like to switch back and forth to your stances and stuff. But if you're gonna play a ranger, you make sure you go melee build. Trust me, ranger melee is OP. Not that little buku shooting arrow stuff and doing all this extra stuff. No. If you're gonna play ranger, please be a melee ranger and stop trying to shoot arrows. Just play the class and make sure you're getting the best output out of it and not shooting arrows across the map and doing no damage and causing your team to fail. That's the only thing I have to say about you guys. Oh my god. Just play the fucking class and do your damage and stop trying to be like, dude, trust me, there are range classes, but when it comes to warden spec and you want to shoot arrows and stuff, y'all do no damage. There is no damage in warden spec. Make sure you're a full-on melee and you know what you're doing. And that's it for rangers. Like I said, for single target, 9.9. For AoE, an 8. Next class, Scourge Warlock. Now, Warlocks. This class, I've always wanted to play Warlock. I always wanted to main it, but there's no way in hell I'm about to main this class. One reason why is because I have no boons. But other than that, this class is amazing. If you want a caster that just looks dope, plays dope, has one of the fastest mobilities in the game, and does actual good damage, Warlock is your choice. Okay, but here we go. So Warlocks, when it comes to AoE, I'll give them an 8.5. When it comes to single target, I'd give Warlocks. You ready to hear it? You ready to hear it? An 8.5. The only reason why that I say that is because their magnitude damage for certain skills are so terrible, and it makes no sense why a class with long encounter cooldowns. I know they have soul sparks and this and that, but it does not matter, dude. I'm telling you, it's just crazy, man. Like, dude, what is this? 12 seconds on this? Come on, bro. Their base damage, I mean their magnitude damage is too low. Like, soul spark does not really counteract the fact that their magnitude damage is low. Sorry. So I'll give them an 8.5 all around the board for AoE and single target. And yeah, that's really it. That's all the classes that I know of that can, you know, actually, this all the classes that can actually only DPS anyways. We're not going to talk about no paladin damage dealer. That's a tank. No, the only time they do that is when they need to solo stuff or they're doing low end content and they have no damage in the group. Other than that, you're not using a damage build in an end game dungeon. This is not my 12. This is not my 10. It's not my 11. None of that. Alright? And yeah, that's it for the video. And peace.